Fu Manchu. Fu Manchu, good morning. Alright. Hope you're alright today. Hope you got some work done yesterday. Right. Sorry, I'm just starting the cogs turning. Here before me, yeah. Finish early. Ah, yeah, it's alright, it's alright. Only a couple more weeks, eh? Indeed, indeed. Alright. Hang on, this music's... I'm not a fan of this song. You got me higher than a plane up in the sky. The DJ... What did I just do there? Let's put this one on. Nukebird, how's it going? Hope you're alright. Welcome. Today I'm actually going to do some graphics today. That's the plan. Alright. Yeah, the plan is to putting a blur from that I did like 10 years ago. God, I can't remember how to do this. Scope timer? Nope. Scope timer? This one I want to get rid of. Compilation errors, and they were gone. Compilation errors were just the compiler, I believe, does its check of its executable, and then the executable was corrupt or something. So it needs to link it again. So it wasn't my code, it was Visual Studio or the compiler complaining. Talking about corrupted file, yeah. I think when you get to a certain... I mean, it's either just the way I've made it, but I doubt that. When you get to a certain project size, when you try and build large projects, it sometimes doesn't work. Alright, cool. So yesterday I made temporary icons for every single item in the game. You can move them around, but then the icon becomes the mouse cursor when you're dragging it, so it's like super responsive, I suppose is the word. If we can compile for a second time, it fixes all the issues, yeah.
There are a couple of problems that I have with this compiler. Sometimes if you change the members of a structure, it doesn't register. Sometimes if you change the code, it doesn't register, so it won't build the changing. And that happens once or twice a day, I'd say, so it's quite a prolific error. So then the only way to fix that is to actually do a full rebuild all. So I'm not sure what's going on there really. So the plan today is to do a blur, a nice blur of the whole screen, because I think when you do this, the whole screen's going to get blurred, maybe, or the blur is going to actually contribute to the effect on the panel when we start actually doing panels for the UI. Back in the, cause weird errors, undefined behavior. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, I mean, that might still happen. Who knows? It'd be interesting to know what the compiler actually does to really verify that it's functionally identical to the debug build. Be interesting. Okay, cool. So I've got to find this blur now. It's part of an old project. It was a nice blur though. I'm not going to try and rewrite the whole thing because literally no idea how it works. So we have to get an old project up and running. It doesn't work immediately. What's going on here? Yeah, I remember this. I don't know if I want to bother to fix this. Let's just try and find the code for it. Is it in depth of field? Blur. Anything to do with blur. Disk blur, this is it. Disk blur. Not in the filters though. Complex blur. 64. So that's just in static constant buffer, that. Oh man, back in the good old days of DirectX 11 this. It's so much simpler. Blur isn't that hard. Yeah, it's not a box blur or a Gaussian blur. It's a different type of blur. It's like a complex blur with complex numbers. Can't remember how it. Oh, the paper. It's a bokeh blur. Circulable separable combination. It's that one. Depth of field. See if we can find a paper on it. It's by EA. It's the Frostbite engine. It's quite old. You can see how old this is then, because Frostbite engine. I think it was like 2014. Do I have anything? Oh man. It's a PPTX file. This type of thing. It's Very mathsy, unfortunately. So I've just called it, I believe, disk blur in the old project. Complex blur. Just remember how it works. It's a separable. From what I remember, this is like 10 years ago. It's a separable disk blur, like a separable Gaussian blur, but blurs out disks. I think Gaussian blur can look a little bit muddy, so I don't tend to use it. So the question is, do we get this project working so I can see it, or do we just try and work out what's going on? So we've got disk blur horizontal, disk blur horizontal, Y, disk blur horiz, disk blur horiz Y, disk blur vertex. Bamberg. Shader just sampled Lazy Ben game. Yeah. How's it going? There's vert and vert Y. Make blur params. Here we go. So are these? I think that's Gaussian, isn't it? Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur. Disk blur. Disk blur. Also in DirectX 11, look at that. I haven't looked at DirectX 11 for a while. Doing a blur today, Fanbjerg, if I can figure out how it works. So we get a render target for every component, look. Red, green, blue, and alpha. And they're like 16 bits a channel as well in floating point. So the big. We call them blur channels. So we've got this thing called YMod. YMod. Why there's a Y version and a Horiz Y and a Horiz version. Oh man, look how easy all these from DirectX 11. Just have to set them. Why? So why is the two different ones? So what I want to know is, we also have these we're downsampling as well. DS target. We also have, I know that we have these complex number coefficients somewhere. Alright, let's just put a breakpoint there. We called it depth of field in this. Oh, the Y one was for depth of field. So the Y is like blur. The further down your screen you get, the more blurry you get. That's what it is. Right. So we need to find these coefficients. Complex blur offsets. So it's not in a shade. They're not in any shaders. They're uploaded. I remember that. All right. Make offsets. Here we go. Right. So we need to do this. So what I want to do is keep this project open. Fortunately, I can't run it. I don't really want to spend time fixing it. So we'll just have to see how far we get. Right. So what do I want to do? How do I want to do this? We might just make a file called post-processing, unless we have one. And put it all in there. Sorry for suddenly leaving, no problem. Today I'm out of internet. Ah, okay. Yeah, blooming heck. Metered internet, man. It's a killer. Yeah, well, have a good one. Tune in tomorrow and hopefully there'll be a blur. The screen will be blurry. So we're just going to make one of these. And then what I want to do is I'm going to have, I'll just take this off and put it here, just for reference really. So I'm just going to have struct disk blur. And then we'll have, so this make offsets is called, here. So we make complex blur offsets 64. So I'm going to do, so the VEC 4s, they're all VEC 4s. Assuming I have a VEC 4. And there's 64 of them. what I'm going to do is we're going to do standard array. 4, 64, 64 offsets. And then I'm going to have a constructor and then I'm going to have void make offsets. What I might do is put these both into private here. Make offsets, angle count and result. Ah, okay. So angle size t count, and then we're going to do standard span effect 4 result output. And this can just be bool. Come on, get this set up properly. So we'll just do make offsets 0, 16 offsets. What is it? Standard span. Offsets. Subspan 0, 16. Does span t need to be a reference? Doesn't it work kind of like a string view? Yeah, you're right, yeah. It doesn't need to be a reference. Actually needs to be a right hand side reference if I was going to do that. But yeah, it does. You're correct. So this is 45. So we don't actually need the count because we've got the span. (16 to 32). (90). Interesting, this is in degrees. 32 to 48. Minus 45. 48. 64. What's with the numbers? So I'm doing a blur today, a disk blur, which I implemented a long time ago, so 2014 or something. And I don't really remember how it works, other than it looks really good. So I'm just going to go through and port this code over and see if I can remember how it works. So the idea is it's going to be when you pause the game, either the blur is going to be across the entire screen. I'm not sure. Either the blur is going to be across the entire screen and then the menus will be in front of it, or it'll contribute to the menu effect. So it'll be blurred behind the menu. I'm not sure yet. We'll probably try both and see which one looks good. Over a decade ago. Yeah. And unfortunately, the code doesn't run at the moment. I don't want to really... I could spend time fixing like 10-year-old code, or I could just copy it and see if I can get it to work on this engine. And it'll also put in like a bit of a code path for other post-processing things. Like there is a post-processor on the back end of the renderer, so you could just directly program post-processing in DirectX if you wanted to. But I'm going to just make more of a front-end version of it. So I'll put the framework down for that as well. Okay. How do I get Visual Studio to work again? There we go. All right. This does this fancy maths, which is doing something around a circle by the looks of it. So it's putting points on a circle. Radius is a half. Screen aspect. Ooh, interesting. How do we get the screen aspect? So we possibly need a camera as well. Or the camera state at least. Camera. So we need to pass in the camera. Camera. We need to save the camera. So if this depends on the screen aspect, it's going to have to get remade every time we change the size of the screen as well. So I have to bear that in mind. So we'll probably have to make it probably not that bad to make every frame. That would do in the blur. So I won't save it. I mean, I don't have to declare it either. I do have to forward declare it though. Include the camera. That is. In the engine. So we won't save it, we'll just pass it into make offsets. So we want the aspect ratio. Screen aspect. So I'm assuming that's the aspect ratio. We'll see. So We'll put that second as well. Whoops. Seems the only thing that's really changing is the angle. So aspect equals camera. We don't have it. We don't have it in camera state. Why don't we have it in camera state? Okay, so this actually needs to be the camera, not camera state. Camera get world bounds width over height, probably. Don't know. And this is the aspect ratio. This is for I count. Count being output.size. Right. So count has got to be at least 2 for this to work. I don't think lerp is like this. BM lerp F. Okay. So in the post processor at the moment, I don't know really what I'm gonna do. Do I support Unicode? Yeah. Yeah, it does. Doesn't support, it only supports left to right font rendering at the moment. So you need to do some work to do top to bottom or right to left. But yeah, it does support them glyph characters, yeah. Supports all sorts. Supports dingbats if you want. Dingbats and icons and all sorts of stuff. No, still here. All right, Vanberg. Missed that comment there. Sorry. OpenGL Bloom. They show how Blur works. Yeah. I've done a lot of Blur stuff. This is probably a Gaussian blur. Probably how they do this. Yeah. That's not the same type of blur that I'm gonna do. But we will put Gaussian blur in. Probably it isn't in the engine at the moment. I don't think. We'll eventually put it in. I I'm doing a different type of blur. I'm doing a, what was it called? It's called circular separable convolution depth of field. I think this is it. I believe this is it. I'll put this reference on there. Have a read through that. So it makes blurs like this. See these white circles. So you're not going to get this. See, these are actually circles. With Gaussian, you get smudges. It's the best way to describe it. It smudges it, which is quite. I call it like it's quite dirty. The blur's quite dirty looking, like you've put some Vaseline on the camera or something. These types of blurs are much nicer to look at, I think, and more accurate, more physically realistic as well. So the way this set up on the old game is it wasn't as subtle as this. You really could see the circles. Like it looked good. It looked really like, I wasn't really going for realistic, but it looked good. Talking about the dependency between distant amount, intensity of blur. Yeah. The main takeaway from that is that it's a separable circular blur, disk blur. It's separable, like Gaussian is separable. So the reason why Gaussian's popular is because it's separable, which means you blur all that way, and then you take that render target, and then you blur that way, and it gives you the final blur, which is separable. So you don't have to do every pixel loads and loads of times, so it's very cheap. And you can do circular blurs unseparable. So take every pixel and blur it out into a circle, and go to the next pixel, blur it out into a circle. But that's a very expensive. So the main takeaway from this paper is it was separable as well, which made it fast. So that's one of the reasons why it's good. Makes it cheap, yeah. That was the idea. Okay. So, I'm gonna go post-processing effect types. Oops. Maybe we'll do that yet. I'll just put in like just do this for now. Well, maybe I'll probably have to do this. So, do this. So we'll go just have an array of effect storage effects. So this would just be so I think I want to do this and then just do return effects dot add standard move blur or effect even. So we need to include libm hybrid storage. So we've just got a place to store all our effects. Let's just make something we can compile from. Whoops. Oh, we already have one. We already have it. That's fine. Okay, so this has got to be something that's on the canvas, really. I think. So in the canvas, I'm going to include and the canvas can have a post processor on it. And then I'll just do I don't really know where to put it. We'll do template is post-processing effect size D add post-processing effect effect and post-processor effect standard move effect. And then when we're drawing the game level, we'll just do in game level for now. Tick room. We'll do after we've set the camera, do it here. Do canvas add post processing effect disk blur. So we need to include the post processor. Here, I think, as well. Oh, it's camera state. I don't think we do need to include the post processor because it's in the canvas. So this is canvas. Get camera. We're just gonna go to begin with, just trying to blur this screen. So we'd only add this effect when the blur is happening. So it'd be more like an immediate. Okay, we can't do that because. Okay, so canvas end. All right, yeah. So on end. We'll have a reset of empty. It's just as effects.empty. I don't know if we want to do this because we might want some effects. We probably do want some effects to persist over frames. And so begin, we'll do post processor empty. Right. So just run. We'll see if we're generating those. Let's call them offsets. No. What's going on here? Because that's not the end. It's weird for a span, because you need a count. That is weird to me. It's not a begin and an end. So a span to me is a begin and an end, not a begin and a count. Whatever. So it's the right aspect anyway. So we're dividing by the aspect ratio for some reason. Just in X. Just the X version. So that's making it. So does this lerp? This is a vec2 lerp. Whoops. Trying to figure out what's going on, why we're dividing by the aspect ratio in X. That's what it is. Width over height. Okay, well, we won't deviate. So this means we're just generating those coefficients every frame now, which right now are the same. Okay, cool. Interesting, it's defaulted the W coordinate to 1. So I wonder as well why these are Vec 4 and not Vec 2. I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'll put a little note. Which hopefully will Vec 4. Not Vec 2. Okay, now we need to get onto the rest of it. Complex blur offsets. So these offsets need to get stuck into the shader, into a shader. So the renderer has in it some static global buffer. Do you want to put it in there, or do we want to put it in the dynamic global? The static one obviously never changes. The dynamic one changes. The offsets probably never need to change. So we'll do or in the well. We'll put it here. We'll put it here for now. This blur, what do we call it? What do we call it in the other one? Complex blur offsets. This blur offsets, I think. And then in common.hlsl, we have this. So this would be '64 float 4s. This is 64 as well. So now we've just increased the size of that buffer a lot. Let's just check that it works. Check we still have wind. Yeah. Right, so that needs to get filled. This needs to get filled. So this is the GPU buffer, and this is the CPU side of the buffer. So we need to actually work out how we fill this. Probably in pipeline, you know. Static buffer. You'd think it would be in here. Make meshes resident. Make cameras. No. So I just search for. So the renderer has get static global buffer. Oh, so we do it here. We do it when we're ticking. So we do it when we're ticking. Yeah. So it's actually not done from the DirectX side. So we may as well just do a tick. And then we will do a tick on the disk blur. And we'll just do we'll do a concept for if it has a tick. Template class T concept post processing effect has tick. Requires I'll call this effect E, and that's just we want check the effect is a post-processing effect, and that e.tick returns standard same as void like that. All right. I'll put a breakpoint there, and we'll go for each type. Or auto E in effects. We'll go for each type of post-processor effect. Post-processing effects. If, well, the effect is the wrap type of X, and then we'll just say if constexpr post-processing effect, that's tick, then we'll do if auto effect equals e.try unwrap effect tick. Okay, cool. So we just need to tick the post processor as well. So that can, when's that gonna happen? Probably canvas end here. We'll do post processor tick. And then the post processor disk blur, we'll just check we get breakpoint here. The disk set the static off complex offset things. So this is obviously not once per canvas. Static is once per game. That static buffer. Alright, that didn't work. Effect is empty. Effects is empty. Oh. Why is effects empty? There's a disk blur effect in there. So we're beginning the canvas. We're adding the effect. We're calling... Oh, it's a different canvas. That's why. That's why. There's many canvases. We're just looking for the canvas with this the game canvas. So that is the debug HUD stuff canvas. So the game canvas should have an effect on it. Yeah, it does. So it's failing this concept by the looks of it. Because of that. So as soon as we get this tick happening, we will upload. So we might want like a per canvas constant buffer. That's something we can work on after this. Which I don't think we have. Still not ticking. Get this concept working. failing somewhere else then. What is effect? Disk blur. Oh, he's calling tick. Oh, we should have put something breakpoint on it. Well, that'll be it, won't it? Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we need to get the static buffer. Get renderer. Get static global buffer. And then we just need to say static buffer disk blur offsets is our offsets. We need to include the renderer. Doesn't take 0 arguments. Oh, it is for the canvas. Aha, that's awesome. So we don't know what canvas it is though. So tick needs the canvas now. What canvas we're ticking with? Or declare canvas. So now this takes the canvas handle. Get handle. Get handle. Oh, that's awesome. I'm hoping that is actually correct. That we do have a static, so it is per canvas, which sorts that problem out. Pick this. Right then. Easy. Right, so they're on the GPU. They are on the GPU now. That's what that means. Easy. That was easy. That was good. So now we just need to do something with this post-processor on the GPU side. The DX12 canvas post-process. What does this have in it? It has the handle to the canvas. Does it have the canvas itself? It does not. So how do we get the canvas? Get a renderer. Get canvas. Or is the canvas? Canvas is maybe gone by now. So we need to do something on like the next draw. Yeah, canvas has potentially disappeared by now. What does that mean then? It means that possibly the canvas is not the best place to put the post processor. There's two things we can do. We can either copy it out of the canvas into the renderer, or we can put it directly in the renderer. We've got this thing called post-processing enabled. Canvases with post-processing canvas handle. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do here is make a canvas post-processor, or have the post-processor have a canvas handle. I think that makes the most sense. We can map canvas handle to post processor to mesh array. Yeah, I don't know. So what I think all I'll do here is the post processor. Do something like this. That type of thing. And rather than the post processor being in the canvas, it's in the renderer as an array of post processor. Like this. And canvases with post processing have the post processor now. So that means we need to include post processor. And I think this is, yeah, that's right, yeah. So let's strip it back out of take it out of here. We still want the API to be the same, I think. What we're going to do is just forward declare the post processor. Alright, while these ads are on, I'm just going to make a cup of tea. Back in 2 minutes. Fresh copy. Yeah, we'll get this designed, get this API sorted, and then we can start continuing on with the Blur post-processor. So the renderer now needs get post-processor for canvas handle. So Optref post-processor, get post-processor, const canvas handle, canvas, and then we're gonna say that post-processors can be found by canvas handle. So that is bool operator equals canvas handle. Well, how big is a canvas handle? It's not very big at all. Let's find it. Const canvas handle. Other handle. Just return. The canvas handle is equal to the other handle. And then the renderer, we just return canvases with post-processing. Find canvas like that. This is enable and disable post-processing. So this is adding and removing it. So does this just work? No. Is post-processing effect? Okay. So we do need to include post-processor properly. And this needs to be get renderer. So we're going to say auto renderer, get renderer, renderer, enable post processing, the render is enable post processing. What does that take? The canvas and the value. So it's just this and true value. And this should probably return no. So we just go renderer get post processor handle add effect standard move effect. So we're just going through the canvas. So this is canvas handle. rid of all these compile errors. I think that's pretty much it. So I need to forward declare canvas handle. Do we need to forward declare the canvas? So does tick now need the canvas? It might be handy. Because we already have the handle. Oh, we don't have that. We don't actually have the handle in the... We have the handle here. We don't actually have the handle in the display though. I'll declare it. Some render types. So we need to include the renderer as well. Is that going to work? I don't know if that's going to work. That seems to me circular dependency. No, it's fine. So, if auto post processor, I'll say pp get renderer, get post processor, the handle. Empty it. And then tick it. Oh yeah, we already have the renderer here as well. So we need to do this before we do any sorting, because the ticks might want to draw stuff for debug or whatever. Right. Yeah, this is a problem. The renderer we cannot say get renderer in here, because I think the renderer includes the canvas. Yeah. Does it need to? Yeah. So how do we want to do this? Yeah, that's annoying. So why does the renderer need to know about the canvas? He needs to know about canvas handle. They can be forward declared. I don't think it does. I think we could just get away with doing this and doing class canvas. Right, that's awesome. Hopefully that compiles. Canvas handle. Use of undefined type canvas. Right, that builds. That's awesome. So now, in the DX12 canvas, the post-process, we should be able to get the renderer. So we should be able to go post-processor is get renderer. Get post-processor for the handle. If PP, do something. Got two PPs. Source PP. Don't know what to call it. Alright. Oh, that's weird. Got some weird crash going on. Probably needs to rebuild it. And then we just want to go through the effects and do things. The disk blur effect. There we go. No effects in it though. Oh, it does. It has one effect in it. The disk blur effect. So, let's make. So I think before we do, disk blur is a complicated effect. So let's make. Go back to the post processor, and we will make a grayscale. It's just literally makes it grey. Makes it black and white. And then rather than add the disk blur in, so how do we do this? In the game level. Room. So rather than do this, we'll just do canvas, add post-processing effect, grayscale. Could get the actual. It's running out of memory a lot. Need to buy some more memory. Whoa! And Streamlabs is.